Rizal talisman for national stupidity. Rizal seems to have suffered the fate of most celebrity, taken for granted, an object of idolatry without any extraordinary significance. This phrase came from the first sentence of the first paragraph. Taken for granted is something that I can relate to myself from the phrase that is being stated. I've been or still am taken for granted by the people that surrounded me in a way that they cannot appreciate me for being who I am instead. And also in a way that at some point people comes to me because they knew I possess the things they do not have, so that euphemism goes around befriending me in order to take hold of what are not present to them. Rizal was taken for granted by some Filipinos whose voice were silenced way back then. They come to Rizal because aside that he can do something, he came from well-off family. He will surely do something because he cares deeply to his fellow Filipino. If we're going to read again the prelim topics, we can just easily tell and conclude that he was being taken for granted during those times. Rizal was only thinking for the betterment of his country and for his fellow Filipinos. That kind of attitude of him is something that can easily be taken for granted. Therefore, I conclude that if we are going to let those people that surround us continue doing those kind of things, cycle will continue. Those people who were taken for granted just like me will stop ourselves from voicing out our opinions to other people because we felt that they don't really care about us. They just want the fact that they have us who are willing to listen to them. Time will come, people like us will get tired and somehow realize that being taken for granted is something that is not what we want. Claro M. Recto and this Rizal Bill and the Rizal Law, RA 1425 and its predicament. There is one person that contributed as to why Rizal's works, which are Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, continuously circulated up to the present situation. It is called Rizal Law, wherein Rizal's work will be taught in the university and other colleges. Senator Claro M. Recto was the main proponent to make his work, which I have had stated in the first few sentences of the paragraph, to make it compulsory in reading in school. There are many people who neglected that idea, and a lot of people are involved just for it to not be passed to the Congress. However, Senator Recto did what best for everyone and to the future generations, so you'll be able to know what Rizal did way back then. I can really tell if the Congress did not let the bill to be approved, we, the future generation, cannot be able to know the heroism of Rizal and what he did for his country. In addition, we cannot be able to have any idea why he is being called as the sole national hero of the Philippines. Senator Recto fought for the bill to be passed. That for sure is a thing that is considerably worth it, because our generation and the future generation can benefit from it. It made Rizal's legacy well known up to now, and his work that freed Filipinos from the colonization is not wasted. Instead, we gave so much value in it, and it served as an eye-opener to us, his fellow Filipinos. If there is one thing that I have come to realize while making and reading this topic, it is, in a room with 100 or 1,000 of people in it, there will also be one person who will enact bravely upon believing that there is something right that will happen. That one action of Senator Recto is an act of bravery for me, because despite of all the prejudice and judgment from the other people to him, he still did what is right. That one action have put the legacy of our national hero Dr. Jose Rizal at the present situation, regardless of his physical absence. Noli Me Tangere. The Noli Me Tangere novel contains on how the Spanish rulers treated the Filipinos way back then, especially those priests, due to its fact that they are the one who is called superiority during the colonization. The novel focused more on the life of Ibarra and how unfair the treatment of the Spanish, those people that are not rich and have no say in life. They are being manipulated by the supreme people who ruled the country at that time. Padre Damaso is the opposition of Ibarra in the said novel. In the story, it seems like he has dissatisfaction towards Ibarra, and he always finds a way that Ibarra does not go after him. He did not like the idea of being left off by other people. The situation before are the same in terms of poor people just like us are not treated fairly by the supreme people. We are not as privileged as the rich people. There were times that we are being left behind from the things that we deserve from the government should give us, because there are people who use connection, especially if they knew someone who's incapable of manipulating things, so that their plan or want will go along with what they have expected. The history repeats itself. It's just that the only difference is that we are being colonized by other country before. The treatment and happenings were just the same. Nothing changed. Having privilege as a person who has a lot of connection to those people from the superiority is okay, but not to the point that we will abuse it and use it so that we can be more profitable than the other people who is really in need of help. Connection or having privilege cannot use all the times to the point that you are being dependent into it. El Filibusterismo. El Filibusterismo is the sequel or also known as continuation of the No Limit Tangere, which when Ibarra came back to his country after how many years of not living there. There was two reasons why he came back. The first one is to rescue his beloved, Maria Clara, and the second one is to seek revenge by starting a revolution against Spain. He came back as a new person, a rich man and a powerful jeweler. That is why he assumed that it will going to be easy for him to execute his plan and it will go along on what he had expected. But when he was about to do his first attempt, that is when he heard the news that Maria Clara died. This made him furious and his plan failed. I'll be focusing more on when his plan in revenging from the Spanish rulers fails when he heard the news of Maria Clara died. They have been together for how many years, and hearing those kind of news really made him madder, because Maria Clara was one of his reasons why he came back to his country. As a person I am, losing one of the important people in my life is something that I am not looking forward to, because they are the one who gave and still are giving me strength to continue life. They serve as an inspiration for me to strive harder in this tiring world. I can somehow relate when Simon, or also known as Ibarra in the No Limit Tangere, when he lost Maria Clara. That is when he failed to execute his plan. I can relate it when my mother died. She is everything to me, because aside from she is my mother, I love her so much more than anyone in this world. When she died, I get depressed knowing that the person I love the most is now gone. The inspiration to do best at school now lessened, because I felt like I have no one to make proud of me, that I'm doing a great job in an aspect. After everything that have had happened to me, losing mother, I got tired of standing on my own and not having someone who can lean, because somehow I realized I still have my father and sister to continue the life that God has given to me. If I am still going to continue those kind of mindset, nothing's gonna happen. Just like Simon, when he still continued to execute his revenging despite of having in mind that Maria Clara, his lover, is now gone. He might not have the same reason why he continued to strive or do something in life, but we both lose the person we cherish the most. The Vision of Friar Rodriguez. The Vision of Friar Rodriguez contains a conversation between the Saint Augustine and Augustinian priest Friar Jose Rodriguez. The saint criticized the priest on his belief and action because it opposites the priesthood. The priest, which is Jose Rodriguez, performed abusive action by using the Catholic Church's name. The satire was written by Jose Rizal contains about his response. What was Friar Rodriguez's judgment toward his novel No Limit Tangere? As what I have had been stated earlier, it is the conversation of the two wherein, in the reality, the one who really criticized the book of Jose Rizal is priest Friar Jose Rodriguez. Rizal's way of responding to the criticism that he had received from the priest is through writing. In every aspect or way of fighting back the people who had opposed him, Rizal is through writing. It is really his way, if we are really going to observe him from the start. As a person I am, there were also times that I have been receiving criticism from other people. It also frustrates me to the point that I also need to express what I am feeling during those moments, and my way of letting my frustration is through ranting on a social media platform. At least somehow lessen the heaviness of heart. In life, not a lot of people can understand what we're fighting for, just like Rizal. We have so many opponent during the time when he was fighting for the life of every Filipinos who cannot voice out for themselves. Being has its own coping mechanism for us to ease the things that stress us out. We will find a way to prove ourselves from the people who are underestimating us. The telephone. Unequal opportunity is the societal issues that I have had seen. The play Por Telefono by Jose Rizal. The friar discriminates the novel of Jose Rizal, and the play is a response of Jose Rizal from the discrimination that he had received. They initiate banning the novel. Noli Me Tangere in the fall of 1889. Rizal's work is being discriminated and is being receiving an unequal opportunity because his work has been banned from being distributed. And his Por Telefono play is the response for what they have had done. It also revealed how the friars live their life and how they give thanks to the others for the donation they have had received. It affects me in a way, as a student, in a way that those friars stopped the novels of our national hero Jose Rizal from being known and printed out. When they planned really happened, we cannot be able to aware how those people treated way back then. They have had been contradicting Rizal because they knew that he is knowledgeable enough, and it is something that they refuse to give to every Filipino. His knowledge is enough to fight back the Spanish ruler. Everything Rizal have had done really benefited the new generation, which is us, and the future generation. His legacy and his heroic deed is something that is unforgettable, because he is one of the reasons why we have gained the freedom that we long for. Rizal's letter to Father Pastels. If such sun has to go through storms, the Father will protect the light with strong glasses. This sentence really caught my attention while I was reading the Rizal's letter to Father Pastels, due to the fact that it affects me in a way. It shows the father's love to his son. A parent love for their children is something that no one can match. If we're going to read the first sentence, a father will do everything just to protect his son from the possible storm that can affect him. I can attest in my personal experience and happiness in life. My father's love for me and to my sister is so great, to the point that he is willing to do everything for us to have a comfortable life. He always protects us from the possible harm that we are about to encounter. He may not be showy type of a person, but we can see in his action and sacrifices are his way. Those are his way of showing love. We may be misunderstood our parents most of the time, but what they have had been showing or telling us is for our best. Even if sometimes our parents are so strict, but we can still really tell where they're coming from. They do not want us to do the same mistake that they have had done, because they knew that it is not good. We need to put in our mind that no one can protect us in this world aside from our parents.